Hey everyone, Ronan here, and welcome back to the channel. We got a very big part coming up today, because this is part 1 of what if Jessie and James took the Sinnoh League Gym Challenge. But before we get into that, we gotta shout out the patron as we normally do. So, Demetrius McElrath, thank you very much for the support. And also, everyone, analytics are very important, so please take a look at these right here, plus the subscribe versus the unsubscribed. And also, drop a like and a comment so we can help fuel the algorithm and start this series off on a wild ride. And also, if this is your first time here, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that way you'll never miss another upload. But with all that being said, let's get into what if Jessie and James challenge the Sinnoh League. I hope you enjoy. Alright everyone, here we go. Ready for a brand new adventure with our favorite terrible trio. However, before we get into the main bulk of this story, there's something that I need to put some clarification on. In the end of the last part of what if Jessie and James took the gym challenge, I made a couple of statements about where their journey would be while Ash was in the battle frontier. Well, I'm going to get a little bit more specific on that, as their story is going to actually pick up right before Ash was able to earn his second battle symbol. Overall, they haven't been traveling Kanto for a prolonged period of time, and at this current moment, it's only been Jessie and James, as Meowth had been promoted to logistics when they had returned from the Hoenn region. So those two, under the guise of Giovanni, allowing them to patrol the Kanto region and look for the traders Butch and Cassidy, have been seeking them, trying to get the Pokeballs back that they had stolen at the end of the last story. However, during their scuffles between the time they got back to Kanto and the current point in the story, they were only able to get the balls back for Numel and Breloom. However, at this current time, Giovanni was unaware of this success. As far as he knows, they weren't able to come across any signs of Butch and Cassidy. And this is going to lead us right into the start of our story, as Jessie and James find themselves south of Cerulean City, at an old, abandoned Team Rocket base that was used when operatives were on the run from the authorities. They got word from Meowth that they may have been there, as an old alarm had been activated. But unfortunately for Jessie and James, they're going to arrive just a little bit too late, as when they get there, the base has all been but abandoned. There's no sign of anybody there, and it hasn't been for at least a couple of days. The two are very upset by this, as there's been one haunting thought that has been playing over and over again in Jessie and James' mind since they got back to the Kanto region, and that's just reuniting their family and being able to use their Pokemon. However, until they get those Pokeballs back from Butch and Cassidy, they won't be able to. And the disappointment between the two is one that is noticeable, as Jessie begins to berate James for him taking too long in Saffron City when he was trying to get some loose collectibles for his bottle cap collection. To Jessie, this was the reason they just barely missed Butch and Cassidy. However, the truth of the matter is that they got the call while they were in the process of looking for these bottle caps. So it's not like James's individual search for himself really had anything to do with them missing Butch and Cassidy. However, even though Jessie knows this, she needs a target to take out her aggression on, which James is quickly able to crack back at her, reminding Jessie that they're in this together. They both have something to lose if they don't get the Pokeballs back. They'll never really be able to use Arbok or Weezing again. While they could keep the two Pokemon with them outside of the Pokeballs, the fact of the matter is that they would have to travel the whole way to Hoenn in order to get them, and that's something that Giovanni isn't going to allow. They've wasted enough resources in the past, and the fact that they would be trying to make a personal request like that is something that Giovanni isn't going to be willing to allow them to do, no matter how good they did in Hoenn. After all, their track record for success is far outweighed by their track record of failure, and the two know this, which causes them to both hang their head and sigh. That is, until their Pokedex goes off, as a hologram of Matori appears in front of the duo, demanding that they return to the Rocket base. Giovanni has requested their presence. Jessie tells Boss Rocket's assistant that they still have one more place to look at. However, Matori reminds them that Giovanni has requested this personally, personally, and she will not be the one to tell the boss that they said no. They can do it directly. This causes Jessie to get quiet, as she knows exactly what that means. Regardless of what she wants or what James wants, they're both gonna have to return to Team Rocket HQ. Motoi tells them to hurry, as the quicker they get here, the less likely Giovanni will be to take out his frustrations of the current assignment on them. Then the hologram hangs up, with James reminding Jessie that once they see what exactly this assignment is, they can get back on looking for Butch and Cassidy, and they could possibly even do that while they're doing the assignment. After all, that's all they've been doing for the past couple of months. Jessie sighs, saying that she understands it, but she's just frustrated. She wants to put this entire situation with Butch and Cassidy behind them and turn them over to the boss so that way he can stop blaming them for getting away in Hoenn. However, the two don't have time to argue over this, as they have a long trek back to the main base of operations for Team Rocket, and Motoi did say get there as quickly as they can. And considering that they don't exactly have the big budget that they were promised due to their past failings and the debt that they are in with the team, the two are going to have to get there under their own power. Luckily, it won't take them that long, as due to their past endeavors, they become very good at hiding in small nooks and crannies, getting to places where they wouldn't normally have access to, allowing them to secure modes of transportation for free. This results them in arriving back at Team Rocket HQ in less than 2 days. As they rock into the main base, James comments that after they're done here, they should stop and see Meowth. After all, the Scratch Cat has been working non-stop for logistics of Team Rocket, planning their expansion and any new endeavors within other regions. So he's sort of become somewhat of a bigwig within the base, much to the difference for them, as they've been forced into field operations. And it feels like they've even gotten the demotion from the admins that they were with inside of the Hoenn region. However, Jessie comments that they can worry about that later. Her primary goal is just to hear what Giovanni has to say. That way they can get back on the road searching for Butch and Cassidy. However, the two are going to tighten up as they are walking down the hallway, as an echo reverberates throughout the entire catacomb when Giovanni yells, "Where are those incompetent operatives? Didn't you call for them over 2 days ago?" To which Motoi assures Giovanni that they should be here with any moment, only for Jessie and James to appear at the doorway as if they were commanded. Giovanni doesn't greet them with a smile or any type of greeting. He just tells them to enter and commands that Motoi leave them. They have business to discuss. This causes the girl to shudder, as normally she's on the right hand of Giovanni, and he doesn't normally take aggression out on her, which Jessie and James are quick to pick up on, as the boss, even though he's usually cold and callous and calculating, this time his entire personality seems to be rage and anger. This can't bode well for both of them, as the door closes behind Motoi, leaving them to face the wrath of Boss Rocket by themselves. Instantly knowing that the fact that they took so long to get here could be the cause for his whole demeanor, James begins to apologize to Giovanni, telling them that it took a while to get back. However, Gio doesn't want to hear this, telling them that is not the reason he has summoned them. There is something far more important that they need to discuss. He then throws them both a file, as he pushes a button on a desk and a hologram appears above it. What Jessie and James see is a map of a region that looks familiar to James. Giovanni tells them that this is the Sinnoh region, to which Jessie asks, "That's great, but what does it have to do with us?" However, this was the wrong comment, as Giovanni tells her to pipe down. He's going to tell her. Last week, some of the Team Rocket goods that were being shipped from the Sinnoh region were stolen by a local organization within inside of the region, and they don't understand who it was or have much intel on them. These items and all of this technology was very important to Team Rocket's future endeavors, and the fact that it's fallen into hands of an enemy group is something that Giovanni cannot allow. The boss then turns to both Jessie and James to familiarize themselves with the reason why they are here. They both have experience with infiltrating other regions and groups. That is why he has summoned them. They are going to be heading out to the Sinnoh region as soon as possible. Their goal is to infiltrate the region and find out this group, get their technology back, and if they can, bring down the group's infrastructure from within. This causes Jessie and James to immediately begin to protest. They were on the hunt for Butch and Cassidy. They have something that's very important to them, to which Giovanni is all familiar with. And not only that, but he was the one who told them to bring the two traitors of Team Rocket back so he could deal with them personally. However, Giovanni tells them both to pipe down. This is far more important than their personal endeavors. What they stole could have grave grave consequences on the future of Team Rocket. Sitting in the chair, Jessie begins to grip the file tightly, as she knows that being a member of this team means that there's no way out of this demand. Once Giovanni's mind is made up, there is no budging it, and this is exactly what she was afraid of. They actually became good at something, and were able to provide results when other people couldn't, and as a result, they're going to be forced to go do something that is in direct contrast to what their personal goals are. However, as Jessie is beginning to boil up and may blow her top, James speaks up, stating that his family has business in the Sinnoh region, so he's very familiar with it. This is something that shouldn't be too hard for them, and they should be able to finish it within a couple of weeks' time. This causes Giovanni to smile as he pushes another button on his desk, only for two doors to open up and something that looks very familiar to both of the duo pops through. A Pokédex. "Oh, you guys are going to be gone far longer than a week," Boss Rocket says. "You will be infiltrating the region, and I want you to do it under the same guise that you did before. Using the gym challenge was a great way to hide the activities of Team Rocket in the region. You two posing as trainers that are just looking to qualify for a regional champion was brilliant. So I want you to do it again. And while you're there competing in this make-believe gym challenge, I want you to find out any and all intel you can on this mysterious group." At this declaration of Giovanni, a look of hopelessness plasters itself across both Jessie and James. They have no idea how long this is going to take. It was nearly a year in Hoenn. If they're gone that long, then that means that any trail that they had for Butch and Cassidy will go cold. They'll never find them. And what's worse, they'll never get the Pokeballs back for their two Pokemon. However, just as the two are contemplating the thoughts of everything that is happening, Giovanni then makes a statement that is going to bring them back down to reality. If you two are able to successfully complete the submission, then you can consider all of your debts with Team Rocket paid in full, but only upon successful completion. This immediately gets Jessie and James to both perk up, because if that is the case, and Giovanni is willing to forgive every and all debt that they have, then that could be a chance for a new start, within or without Team Rocket. The two stand up, trying to put on their bravest face, telling Giovanni they understand and they will accept the mission. However, James immediately chimes in, asking the boss for one favor. He would like to request a third member to the group, their former traveling companion, Meowth, to which Giovanni has no problem with. They're going to need somebody that's tech savvy on their side, and a small group that can handle multiple different things is exactly what they need to strike in Sinnoh and leave no trace behind, so they can take the Scratch Cat. But they must be quick. The two then bow their heads, thanking Giovanni. They will assemble their Pokemon at once and begin to set out. However, Boss Rocket stops them right there. "Oh, there's one more thing. You two will only be allowed to take 3 of each of your Pokemon with you. The rest will remain here to help pay some of that debt that you owe to Team Rocket. Oh, and Jessie, please take that disobedient Exploud that you have. I no longer want it trouncing around my base, hurting my men. It's up to you to tame that thing. And until you do, it is of no value to Team Rocket. Now, get out of my sight." Giovanni then sits down at his desk as he begins to go over reports that were provided to him before the two arrived, only for Jessie and James to stand there in stunned silence, and Giovanni to look up. "Is there anything else?" He scowls at the two, only for them to jump up, stating "No, sir," before exiting the room in a hurry. As the door shuts behind them, the two have a sense of relief wash over them, only for Matori to look at them. "So you got the same wrath that I did, have you? Well, just know that whatever went missing in Sinnoh is something that Giovanni is taking personal. So you better get underway. Otherwise, you may not have the same grace that he is giving you now." This causes both James and Jessie to gulp, as they know what they have to do. But first, they have to make a brief stop in the logistics division of the base, as there's an old friend they're gonna have to inform is about to get a demotion to field agent. A couple of minutes later, we enter the main logistics division of the Team Rocket base. Around them, the most advanced equipment that money can buy and that Team Rocket has access to. Some of this stuff is even things that the mainstream doesn't have access to. And Meowth has found himself right at home here, as he's become head of the entire division. When the Scratch Cat got a promotion, he got quite the promotion, proving that it was a lot more intelligent than everybody else that was in this division of Team Rocket. However, he is going to be immediately dumbstruck when Jessie and James come walking into his humble abode, as since they've been back in Kanto, neither one of them have come to visit Meowth in person. They've only talked to him over comms, asking if he had any intel on where Butch and Cassidy was, which the Scratch Cat worked on in his spare time to give them any type of leads, as they were old friends. However, he is going to get the shock of his 9 lives when Jessie and James, both in tandem, informed the Scratch Cat that he's going to be leaving the comfort of the Team Rocket HQ under direct orders of Giovanni. All 3 of them are to report to the Sinnoh region immediately. This causes Meowth to flail about, telling the two that they are crazy. There's no way Giovanni would authorize this, not after all the work that it's done to help improve everything that Team Rocket is. However, upon the assistance of both Jessie and James, that it is supposed to accompany them, Meowth makes the biggest mistake of his 9 lives, as he opens up the direct link that he has to Giovanni to tell the boss that they're down here hounding him. But unfortunately, he's not going to be met with the same happy boss that he's known over the last couple of months, as Giovanni demands that the Scratch Cat do what they say. They are all to head out to the Sinnoh region, whether Meowth likes it or not. He will be their tech support and their eyes and ears over the region, and if the Scratch Cat doesn't like it, then Giovanni will deal with it personally before the line goes dead and the screen goes dark, leaving Meowth's eye to twitch a bit as he doesn't understand what just happened. But Jessie and James tell the Scratch Cat they don't have any time. They have to get underway, and if they want to get back to their regular lives that they've begun to form over the last couple of months, they need to make this as quick as possible, with James grabbing Meowth by the tail, telling him that it'll be fun, and they can make it somewhat of a vacation from all the stressful work they've been under as of late, before they take off to the armory part of the base. This is where Jessie and James are gonna have to make a hard decision. Well, somewhat of a hard decision. Part of Jessie's has been made for her, as she has been told she will need to take X-Cloud, and one of the grunts is even holding its Pokeball, telling her that it's perfect for her Pokemon, as it has just as loud of a mouth as she does. This causes Jessie to begin to yell at the grunt. However, James quickly calms her down, saying they don't have time for this. They need to make their selections now. However, as they turn to make their selection, something comes up missing. Jessie and James both realize that the Pokeballs for all of the Pokemon that they caught while they were in Hoenn are not here. Only a select few are, which leaves their choices limited. Jessie is only allowed to take 3 as well as James, and because she was already demanded to take X-Cloud back, that leaves her with only a choice of 2. The 3 that she has left to choose from is going to be Dustox, Spheal, and Lilith. However, that's not going to be much of a choice, as Dustox is currently with Domino in Hoenn, and it's become her right-hand mon, so Jessie won't take the Pokemon away from the friend that she made while she was there. So she's going to be forced to take both Spheal and Lilith. However, for James, his choices are a lot more vast, or so he thought. He's really only going to be allowed to choose from 2 out of the 3 Pokemon that he was promised, as Giovanni has deemed the ones that he caught in the Hoenn region far more useful than any of the ones that Jessie has provided. So, reluctantly, James is only going to get Zangoose and Dusclops, as the other ones have been assigned to other Rocket operatives. This causes the violet-haired man to hang his head as he grabs the 2 Pokeballs and hangs them on his belt. The fact that his Pokemon, the ones he grew with over the course of a year while they were journeying together, are out with another trainer breaks his heart, and it's not something he really knows how to process. But reluctantly, whether they like it or not, they're gonna have to move on. So, with James hanging his head and shoulders and him holding Meowth by his tail, the 3 begin to trek off to a transport that is set to take them north to the Sinnoh region. However, there is a brief light at the end of this tunnel, as Giovanni isn't aware of the first encounter that Jessie and James had with both Butch and Cassidy. So, they have 2 Pokemon that are unaccounted for by Team Rocket. Jessie was able to get the Pokeball for Numel back, so she's able to secretly keep it tucked away out of the reaches of anyone in Team Rocket, while James was able to get the Pokeball back for Breloom, which the purple-haired man has on his belt. So at least they'll have some of their Pokemon they can take, and they won't be as short on help as everyone thought they would be, as they head off to this new region of unknown frontiers with new threats and new possibilities. And this is where we are going to leave things for now. So tell me, how did you feel about this part? Did you enjoy the setup of this new adventure that Jessie, James, and Meowth are going to be headed out on? How do you feel about the clarification that I gave in the beginning, as this is going to put them in Sinnoh far earlier than Ash was when he arrived, which means that's going to cause a whole new set of things to unfold, as they won't have any influence on Pikachu, and that could influence a lot of other things that are going to be happening inside of the region. And how about Giovanni? What exactly was this Team Rocket technology that was lost, and why does he seem to be so bothered by it? Or how about this mysterious group? What threat do they really pose to Team Rocket, if any threat at all? All this and more will be answered as the series continues, but I want to get your guys' thoughts going, so let me know what you think in the comments down below.